Have you checked out Chasing the Limelight series, streaming on podcasts everywhere yet? Because if you haven't, I'm Ashley Seal, and I would love for you to join me and special guest Rusty Joyner as we take you behind the scenes while we're filming to experience the highs, the lows, and everything we learn along the way. So no matter your dream, I truly hope that this podcast inspires you to go for it.
Lisa Apple, a talented composer newly based in New York City, is making a significant impact in the world of musical theatre with her co-written work Boy on Billboard alongside collaborator Meg Parker Wilson. The musical is deeply personal, drawing from the true story of Apple's brother James, who battled with paranoid schizophrenia. Apple's background is as rich as her compositions. A former choir teacher, she spent years performing in theatre, dance and singing engagements in Dallas and Plano, Texas. She's dedicated her talents to educating young musicians at a private school in Plano for 18 years and has recently resigned from teaching to pursue more musical writing opportunities and to get Boy on Billboard out to more people. I caught up with Lisa for a candid conversation about her journey. Welcome to another episode of Jibber Jabber. I'm your host, Sanj Segal, and today we have an incredible guest with us. Please welcome Lisa Apple, a dynamic entrepreneur, composer, author, and advocate for work-life balance. Lisa, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sanj. I'm so glad to be here. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I've been trying to get you on the show for ages.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you're a very interesting character. And I want to delve right back, turning the clock backwards, where your story began. Can you share a little bit about your early life and what inspired you to pursue your current career path?
Yeah, I mean, you want me to go back? I'll go back to when I was, growing up. I mean, in a nutshell, I have always loved music and performing and the arts, and I've just always been drawn to it. I grew up in a family with 4 siblings, my parents, and I was the second born. My sister was great at sports, and I loved the arts and performing, and my 2 younger brothers, they're actually talented in sports and the arts. They kind of got the best of both. I wrote my first song when I was 16. My sister went off to college, and and I kind of was inspired, wrote that and sang that in our church, and just since then, the music and teaching, and it's just been a huge part.
You've got a lot of strings to your bow, sort of thing. You've got your hand in so many different things. Let's move on to the inspiration behind the music and storytelling. Yeah. You wrote your first song when you were 16. What was the song about, and was it to do with real life or a fictitious one at that stage? Yeah,
I wrote about my sister, just the friendship that we had, and it was just me kind of opening up my heart as to how excited I was for her to go to college, and we were 3 years apart, and so it was kind of, I love to journal and I love to write, just in general, and so that was kind of the first time I added in chords and put it to music, and one of my good friends played guitar for me, and it kind of just opened up a passion. Songwriting just kind of became this new passion.
So how did you move from that to Dallas cover bands? I mean, that's quite a big leap. How did it go?
Well, from that turned into, I ended up going to college at Belmont University in Nashville, and just had a great time, made the best of friends. It just was a great experience at the time, and met a lot of people. Then when I moved back to Dallas, and just kind of wanted to start over a little bit and get, I had worked at a couple of record labels in Nashville, and just felt like I kind of wanted to reset and regroup. A lot of my college friends had left, and Nashville, and so I came back to Dallas, and anyway, So yeah, I kind of started to, just to supplement my income, I started to sing in some various cover bands just to make money. It was fun. It was kind of a fun gig.
I bet. Well, I mean, you were a choir teacher, one of those other strings to your bow. You were a choir teacher. How much of doing that got, influenced music for you?
Oh, goodness. I mean, honestly, Sanj, I would say I would say I am still a choir teacher. So where I am at right now, and I mean, let me just say this in life, I have very, very newly moved to New York. And it's one of those things where I'm like, man, I'm still deciding. In all honesty, I'm like, okay, I'm still deciding. I love the city, but so kind of still deciding on that. But I taught middle school choir and just worked with students for the last basically 18 years. Huge part of my world. Working with students is, it's, when you're a creative and you like to kind of have time to create things, to be able to also work with kids and kind of push them along. It was, it's just such a gift. Yeah, it's such a great thing. So.
Okay, and so let's go forward a bit more. And now you've got this huge challenge of developing Boy on Billboard. Tell us a little bit about it. It's a very intriguing title. Let's start there. How did the title come up?
The title, oh man, if you talk to my co-write, the girl that we're just the best of friends, and she co-wrote the show with me, Meg, we bounced around all different titles for like, what should we call this? It was originally called Man on Billboard, but the premise of the show and the title, it kind of speaks for itself. It's based on the true events of my youngest brother, who we kind of got blindsided by all of a sudden he scaled a billboard in downtown Fort Worth and was up there for upwards of 7 hours. And he had like a psychotic break, and we did not, as a family, we did not see it coming at all. And so Meg came to me in 2018, 19 and just said, let's tell this story about your brother, because your family is so hopeful, you're still all so close, and can we have this conversation? Let's do it to let's write a script and let's add in music. And so,
but you'd never done a script before, so
not really.
So how did that go? I mean, was it complete? Was it a challenge to do, or did it just flow?
It was, well, it's, when you kind of set out to do something on your own, at least for me personally, it is not as easy, but when you set out to kind of have a team around you, and I mean, honestly, it's really just been Meg and I, and then we have another, a guy that is very, very close with us and kind of he is on our team, named Heath, but Meg and I just kind of set out to do it together. And so we were just like two girls with families, working, making time for the script when we could. I was doing the music, she was doing the script. I mean, we bounced around ideas. It's been such a process. And I mean, honestly, Sanj, it's still like we're kind of heading, we're going to be in New York in May, and the script is still in revision. So it just
so what do you hope to do with this? I mean, you've moved to New York. You've got the contacts now that perhaps maybe you didn't have before. These, you're big, bright lights, big city, so to speak. So has it made a difference for you making the move to New York?
It's so interesting, because it feels like also still it feels like you can kind of still wheel and deal and hobnob on some level via Zoom and online. You know what I mean? Yeah. But being here, I'm pretty outgoing. I have made myself go out and meet people and go to workshops and seminars and events and happy hours, and I kind of feel like it is. Gosh, it better be making a difference. This is a huge move. So, we're hopeful that we can get for our 29-hour reading in May, that we can get people in the seats that will be passionate about it. And
where are you hoping to launch this? I mean, is it where, if people are listening in the audience, where should they be looking out?
Initially, depending on when this is going to air, but initially it'll be March 13th through the 16th in Dallas. Wow. We are producing it there, and that'll probably be the last time we'll produce it for a while, only because in May 21st, we're doing, it's basically in the life of a musical in New York. It's it kind of put you on the map a little bit. It's called a 29-hour reading. It's usually closed. It's kind of an invite only. It's like an industry thing. And so our hope is that we will get producers and investors, and it will sort of move into some sort of development. And honestly, Sanj, it could go off Broadway. It could go regional. It could go. I mean, hopefully.
Yeah.
But the end goal is to get it. We want to eventually get it licensed to where high schools and colleges across the country and anywhere could do the show, and kind of have that impact. Yeah.
So tell me about social media. I mean, obviously it's a big impact in everybody's life. We follow it all religiously, whether we like it or not.
Right.
So how can people keep in tune with what's going on with Boy on Billboard? Do you have an Instagram account? Do you have a Facebook account?
Yes. Everything is just on Facebook. It's Boy on Billboard. On Instagram, it's at Boy on Billboard, and then TikTok, Boy on Billboard. I mean, we kind of. Fortunately, there wasn't another Boy on Billboard out there that we had to compete with, so we got it. Right? Yeah. We secured it.
Okay, right. Yeah. So let's move on a little bit. And I mean, the actual journey with your brother, what happened to him after that spell? Was he okay? Was he what happened?
It was, his story is actually just... Statistically, it's so common. So he was on kind of the verge of his 24th birthday, and this Billboard incident happened in May of 2010, and then it was about 6 months of truly trying to figure out, was this drugs, was this alcohol, did he do shrooms, what's wrong with him, where can we put him? And I mean, and me, and I mean, well, and really my parents, but along with me, just because at the time I wasn't married, no kids, none of that, and so we were so close. We just kind of went through all the channels that we knew to go through in Dallas and in Texas to get him in the right place. The crazy thing is, though, in the end, it was on the eve of his 24th birthday that it was considered an accidental suicide, and he had just an episode with the knife. He told his roommates, hey, I didn't mean to do this. They took him to Baylor Hospital, and they did what they could, but it was too late. And so sadly, though, statistically, like, it is males 24 years old. It's like the onset of schizophrenia is a very, like it is. And it's, for us, like for Meg and I, telling this story is also, it's about awareness, and it's about getting people to realize, hey, we don't want to put this in your face to make you feel uncomfortable necessarily, but because it blindsided me and my family, it is, we just don't talk about it as much. And it's like, hey, can we just hold space for this in the event that you are able to see things in family members that, hey, like, it's not, it's like, let's catch it maybe. Maybe there's things we can do to catch it before it's too late.
That's the most interesting part about what you're doing, because I believe that in some way you're going to be helping lots of families identify with mental health. So definitely. Okay, right, well, let's have a look at sort of how you balance all these different things that you do. I mean, and the move as well. You're like, Superwoman. How do you do it all?
No, I'm not. It's been so hard. It's so hard. I mean, I'm actually headed back to Texas, to home tomorrow, to be back in Texas for about a month, and then I should be back here. Meg and I are going to come back here. This is just, I mean, honestly, this is a new, it's just like it is for anyone else when you're kind of set out for a new thing. This is, I am learning as I go. I have been in I had the same job that I loved, the teaching job, for 18 years. This is my first spring semester, Sanj, to not be like working on a concert and working on this. And so, I mean, I feel like I'm kind of free falling, but I'm just one day at a time.
You're an advocate for balance. I know that you talk about balance all the time.
Thanks for reminding me.
That's okay, anytime. So how does that work? I mean, you're sharing space between New York and Dallas, and you're moving between. I suppose you use virtual meetings and that sort of thing. I mean, Meg's not with you; she's in New York, and you'll be in Dallas. So how do you?
No, Meg is in Dallas. Yeah, Meg is actually in Dallas. Okay. Yes. So the show that we'll be doing in March. Yeah, I mean, so far it's been. I mean, technology. It's been Zooms, it's been virtual meetings. I mean, Meg and I and Heath will text all throughout the day.
Wow.
We make it is kind of amazing how much you can actually, make happen on your phone and your computer. But yeah, as far as on that personal level, I mean, it has been, I think, just having a support system, having people, having friends that I've known for years, having friends that support me, having friends that are, hey, this really is hard for you, because like along the way there's been a relationship here and there that like, I mean, it's like you kind of want to, I'm just kind of still figuring out certain things, but I know with this specific aspect of my life, I just know that this is kind of the right thing that I'm supposed to be doing right now. And so, you just try to keep your focus, keep your eye on the prize.
Tell me about this, the writer's block. I get it. I have writer's block all the time where you just can't think of anything to put down on paper. What about you? Do you ever suffer when you're writing, when you were doing this, when you were putting things together? Were you like for days unable to put things together? And then, how did you draw inspiration is I guess where I'm going.
Man, I kind of, part of me feels like it's so different for different people, but what I have found is that if I actually kind of just lean in to the writer's block, if I lean in instead of resisting it, because I feel like with resistance, you really, there's just, it almost kind of creates a little bit more writer's block. And so sometimes, sometimes I'm even like, all right, I accept that I have no ideas. I've got nothing right now. And I'm just going to like, it is what it is. And the wave will come again. And then I go do something else. I go, you kind of distract yourself in the hope that it comes back. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer. It is, it is a bit of it's scary at first, and then it's like, something always comes, because like I'm hardwired to be creative, so something will come.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, so if I'm listening to you now as the audience, where do you hope to take Boy on Billboard? I mean, what do you want the audience to learn from this? Is it about more awareness for what happened to your brother, or generally mental health, or is there a message that you want to convey through Boy on Billboard that you want to sort of resonate with the audience?
Yeah, I think telling this story for me means it is a way to honor such a creative, wonderful, special individual, and people who really struggle with mental illness. Sometimes they really are the most creative and inspirational. And I think also it can give the audience a way to say, hey, how do I process, if I know someone that struggles, how do I process like what is like who they really are versus their mental illness? Like, how do I kind of sift through this? And I think it's when you are able to shed light on something that is really difficult, what you notice in people is that it makes them lighter, and then it makes them want to talk about it. And that pushes the needle forward of humanity and of love. And that really is, that's kind of our goal. Our goal is like to get it all the way to Broadway, to get it where people can see it and be moved. And honestly, it doesn't feel like it has a happy ending, but there is so much hope that undergirds this story. And that's kind of what we found. So that, that's what we want.
What do your friends and family think? Obviously you've gone from being a choir teacher to writing scripts. It's quite a different sort of edge to you. Do they think you're crazy? Do they think that, you answered that too quickly? I did,
right? Yeah. I did this, like I made this move really fast because I knew if I didn't, I wouldn't do it. And I knew it had to do with our show, but it also just had to do with like, man, if I'm going to do something, I better do it now. And so there is a little bit of like, what are you doing? This is crazy. That kind of comes with making certain decisions. But from a supportive standpoint, they're excited, they're supportive, they're hopeful just like me. And
and what about your message to somebody who's thinking, you know what? I want to write a script. I want to try to turn something from nothing, into something. Yeah. What advice would you give them? I think a part of that is just, it's like doing it and really doing it and seeking out the resources that can help you make it good. Because there are a lot of people that do things and then they'll say like, well, nobody knows my story as good as I do. But it's like, well, no,
there are ways to have a story and hold it close, and then also say, how can I make this the best that it can be so that it can reach the most people? It's a level of like humility, hard work. You got to kind of put your ego to the side, and then you just kind of, I mean, what I've noticed is that we've kept going. But I will say, Sanj, Meg is a huge part of the keep going. Yeah. She is a huge, so having someone that maybe you can rub elbows with and like bounce ideas off of, and a collaborator, that helps. That really helps. That's helped me a lot.
Sometimes you're on your own, right? And you're lucky you've got Meg there to bounce ideas.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant.
We're working on other stuff. Yeah.
So, but I was going to ask you that because obviously you've got a taste for it now. I mean, do you sort of sit there going, you know what, I've got another idea that I'd like to put on paper? Are you actually, is your mind working overtime?
Yeah, no, well, how do I answer that? I want to say yes, but then...
Right.
But then there have been so many immediate needs with the show that we're doing in March and May. It's like Meg and Heath and I are wearing all the hats. And so I have note cards. I have sticky notes, and I've got I've got a little mini notebook in my purse. Like I will write things down, and on my phone, I've got gobs of notes. And when I get kind of like when I've got some free brain space, I'm like, okay, let me go revisit that idea but yeah, Meg and I are slowly kind of working on this second musical idea we have, and then I have like a couple of ideas, but so getting adjusted in New York has also been like, okay, I can't
imagine that's easy. I really can't imagine. And what about? I mean, you've made new friends in New York. You're networking, obviously. Are you trying to raise finance for Boy on Billboard? If people want to make donations for the movie? I mean, not for the movie. I've been doing movies all week.
Oh, hey. We hope to make it a movie eventually. No, that was a good little. We would love for it to be. People can go to boyonbillboard.com, and there is a donate button if they are interested and passionate about like, hey, I want to see this story, reach a bigger audience. I maybe believe in this. They can and they can find out ways to contact us on our website, boyonbillboard.com. And then hopefully some of our proceeds for our show in March will help us kind of get the money that we need, because it is just...
It's an independent production,
oh my
right?
gosh. So, and it is like there are the expenses for the 29-hour reading. Sure. They're significant. So we just believe that we've made it this far. Like we don't have any debt, and we've made it this far with the show. We've both invested our own, resources as well. But so we'll see. Okay.
Well, listen, I wish you the best of success with Boy on Billboard, and
thank you.
I'd love to have you back on the show to tell us all about it when it's after it's opened.
Gosh, let's do it. Yeah, like in June or something. I'll probably have a whole bunch to say.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Thank you for having me, Sanj.
You're very welcome. Yay. And thank you to the listeners for tuning into this episode. Lisa's Instagram details are in the podcast description box, so you can keep up to date with her journey. Until next time, bye for now.
Hey there, I'm Helen King, a brand new singer-songwriter playing the London indie rock music scene. Listen to my personal story on Networking Magazine podcast. From being a music lover from a young age to releasing my own debut album, Look Back No More, out now. 10 tracks of anthemic, melodic, emotive indie rock. You can get a behind-the-scenes glimpse of how it felt to launch my debut album at the iconic London venue, the Water Rats, on the 11th of February 2025. Look Back No More by Helen King's out now on all major streaming platforms.